A great deal has been written and said about self-love. Women, in particular, have heard a lot about it, as they are the ones who have a greater ability to make sacrifices for other people, forgetting about themselves. They are also closer to the latest psychological trends. Unfortunately, more and more often we treat this self-love as a hackneyed platitude, empty words that should not be taken seriously, precisely because we hear so much about it. Contrary to appearances, self-love is not a glass of wine and pizza on a Friday night, or a romantic candlelit bath, buying yourself new things, or pleasing yourself in hundreds of different ways. Yes, it is a certain part of loving yourself, but it is certainly not the core of it. What does it mean then? First and foremost, it is self-respect. It is the ability to talk about your needs. But the hardest part of loving yourself is simply acting. This means often leaving those situations, places, things that simply destroy us and take away our mental or physical health. This is where the stairs begin because mostly it turns out that, however, it would be better to end up with that glass of wine and pizza. For the fight for ourselves should in no way be inferior to the fight we would have for the loved ones we love and want to help. This means not hiding what one really thinks, and it often means leaving relationships or people we have been involved with for a long time. To their outrage, it may even be family members. How often, when we hear that someone doesn't want to have contact with their own family, do we judge them as someone very bad? I emphasize that we don't do this for our own sake or to emphasize our own importance, but when it is really necessary. When we begin to put more of a healthy love on ourselves, we find that we become the enemy of a great many people, often those who were our closest friends. The expression of love for oneself is nevertheless not to give up in the fight for oneself. For many, this means that their life will become a nightmare for a while. However, this is not given once and for all, because others, seeing that they no longer have any influence on such a person, will eventually let go. To them, there remains at least a small chance that they will regain control over someone they will try. Loving oneself is about getting out of dependence, regaining the sense that we are the ones in control of our lives, but not others or chance. To regain connection with oneself, to become someone who has his own reason, judgment, and, above all, believes in his own feelings, is his own most important authority, but in an objective way. Loving yourself is the ability to say no, to set boundaries, even under pressure from others. It's building a self-worth that is strong enough not to be broken by anything. Loving yourself is also the ability to say yes to good things, to be able to accept them and understand that we deserve them. Loving yourself means being good to yourself. Many of us think that self-love is the freedom to decide for oneself, to do what one wants at any given time. This is important, but it's important not to push yourself to become more and more perfect, to treat yourself and your body objectively, to push yourself to work too much, or to force yourself to do the wrong things. Many women tend to treat themselves harshly and judge themselves even more harshly than anyone has ever judged them. Such a woman may have built up her independence, moved away from toxic dependencies, but virtually nothing will change if she has taken with her that voice that has been telling her all her life that she is a nobody. Many of us claim to love ourselves, while in fact we don't know our needs at all. We don't know what we deserve. We don't know who we even are and what we are for. We expect something from the outside world. Meanwhile, it will only provide us with what we ourselves are ready for. Self-love is consistency and gradually allowing our whole life to transform into something better, not perfect, but into a place in time and space where we feel peace and can, above all, take off our armor before ourselves. Self-love is knowing who you are, integration, authenticity. So many of us are searching for true love, and we think it doesn't exist. Just because few people understand that first, they should love themselves to at least a good degree. Only then are we able to receive from the other person and give him what he needs. If in a relationship someone loves himself too much or too little, such a relationship will not survive. It will be ruled by control, anxiety, and sooner or later, codependency will appear if it didn't even exist from the beginning. When we look at it from this side, we see that loving oneself is an extraordinary act of courage, perhaps the most courageous thing a person is capable of doing in his life. But at the same time, it is one of the things that has the greatest impact on his comfort. Looking far into the future with one's thoughts is, especially in love, a practice familiar to everyone. This solution is prompted by the ego, which drives fear. Many people live in fear of what awaits them around the corner. What if he doesn't want me? If we can't get along together? If she leaves me? If you feel love, beauty, and many other precious feelings, and you know they are real, then don't be afraid that you will lose them or that they are a delusion. Don't dwell on what will happen next. Such things can be overwhelming, especially when they are unexpected. They cause anxiety because they strongly threaten the current lifestyle. Many people find their safe niche from which unexpected situations or a new person they meet pulls them out, makes them leave their comfort zone. Fear of what is to come is both natural and harmful. It's time to throw away these fears and start living in the moment. Love is a beautiful feeling, and we should rejoice in it without thinking about how a situation will resolve. It is the strongest feeling in the universe. If it is real, it is worth believing that everything will work out our way. After all, this is how the universe works. Would God want to destroy something that He Himself created as a basis, or would He rather give it a chance at any cost? Therefore, it's time to let go of fears and trust that everything will work out positively.